Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to have a chance to speak to Nick Malara, our incredible illustrator and graphic designer, and Manny Tremblay, who a couple of you may know as our owner and one of the designers of Dice Throne and kind of the core illustrator for many, many years. So we wanted to kind of come together and have a chance to talk about Slam Throne and how exciting it is to finally have this launch and be able to talk about it. And we thought we'd start off by having a conversation a little bit about how this came to be. More than anything, it's been kind of a long road to get here, from creation to now making it a real thing. So one of the things we wanted to talk about is just how this ended up becoming a real life product. So Manny, tell us a little bit about how this started. How did this idea come to be?
Yeah, this was a game that originated many years ago. This was... I want to say 2018 or 2019. I think it goes back to not long after the inception of Dice Throne. And Aaron Hine, who has been an avid part of the community, he's been with us since the first month of playtesting Dice Throne. So he was one of the first people to ever play Dice Throne in 2016, which is a cool fun fact for anyone who knows Aaron. But at the time, he and I had been kicking the tires on making different unique games using old mechanics, and as he grew up in the 90s and I was a little older than him in the 90s, the idea of pogs kind of set in, and there are many people that are familiar with those from the 90s and the wave of nostalgia, the wave of ridiculousness of throwing things at other things so that they topple over and then you get to collect them. We were like, what if we could make that into a competitive dueling game? And so the very, very first iteration of it, we jokingly called it a projectile object game.
Yeah.
And it was meant to be
which is
kind of
exactly
like
what
this.
it is.
It is literally. But when we first started, we were like, this is like the highbrow version of that.
Yeah.
And so when we played it, and we're like, this is actually super fun. We can like play competitively against each other. And then I showed it to Nate, and Nate was like, why don't we theme this Dice Throne? We could have powers, and the slammers are your heroes. And we created, then like as a team, we created the abilities for all these different Dice Throne heroes in this format. And so then we did the community an awkward by releasing a teaser on April Fool's Day, and then we proceeded to not actually do anything with the game, and then we did it again on April Fool's Day. And then we kept doing it over and over on April Fool's Day, and apparently nothing happened. But seriously, it never actually aligned properly for us to do anything with it, and I think that's kind of the takeaway. Is we were super excited. We did lots of development and design on it. It's a ton of fun to play. We've played it at conventions with people in the past. And I, for one, am super pumped that people will actually get to see this.
Yeah, it's I've been around for a little bit. And one of the things that I'm so excited for it to see the light of day, right? To see people's reactions of... it's always been one of those things where the people who have been in the caves, been around the Dice Throne world for such a long time, they come out and say, this used to be a thing. And now we get to be able to say, hey, this is coming to be a reality, right? And to be able to attach the Dice Throne theme seems like a natural fit as well. Well, when you talk about it on paper, it doesn't seem like such a game that can be mixed together, but when you actually get to play it, it's such an awesome experience, right? That it makes it so exciting. So it's been sitting on the back burner, and for many of us, it's been a project we've always wanted to take on. And up until recently, we've been such a small team that it's been difficult to actually take on some of these side projects. And so we were, when I was first starting, I was the second employee. And since then, now we're up to 10 total employees. So it's really kind of provided us the runway.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It feels like surreal, right?
It is.
So how the story goes is that we actually found ourselves kind of with an opportunity where we had a kind of a gap in between projects, which is a little bit of a rare moment for us. And we had a chance to say, hey, what's something that we want to take on, right? And one of the exciting parts of having a bigger team is that you can take on these small projects. And Nick had this very famous line that we continue to use, which is, Nick, if you'll grace us with your beautiful line here.
Drive it like you stole it.
Yeah, exactly. That we had a 2-week kind of window where we could try to see if we could steal the car and drive it and turn it into a real thing. And so it was really exciting to see the entire team come together on this single project, push really hard and make it a reality. So Nick, what was it like for you kind of getting to work? Because you weren't here when we initially had kind of the teasers, the 4-year-long teasers that we had way back when, to now being part of the team and getting to work on something like this.
Well, I didn't get to see firsthand the history of it, but coming in fairly recently to the company, and seeing the breadcrumb trail that it had left was pretty interesting, because really all I had to do is gather up the breadcrumbs and put the loaf back together, because Manny had done so much work on this already that there wasn't much to do except kind of assemble it and package it, really. We had to refine a few things. His initial slammers, for example, he had picked up a lot of the artwork that he used for Dice Throne, but we found that the portraits, though beautiful that they were meant for other applications, and so they're a little bit too close up on the heroes.
Yeah.
So we thought the creative team came together and we chatted about maybe zooming out so that we could see a little bit more of the hero, even though there's some text that is important to the slammer. We try to integrate the design a bit more with the visual so that it had plenty of impact. And the neat thing about the slammers is that there's 2 sides to them, so we got to do 2 different versions of the same character, the passive side and the catch side, which was a fun narrative challenge for us. We love the Dice Throne heroes, and any chance we get to see them in a different light, to see them doing something more than what you normally see is a tremendous opportunity for the creative department. So
there's like a element of world building to it, right?
Yeah. Well, it's also, I kind of feel like it's a little bit like seeing your cousin that you haven't visited for a whole lot of years. It's like, hey, it's the barbarian. I didn't know you were in town.
Oh my gosh! What are you doing here?
What are you doing? What are you doing here? Yeah. So as we're excited to see our friends in that regard,
right?
And create at least that's how I feel about it. And I guess you get to pinch their cheek a little bit and like, oh, you grew up, like it's just like the some kind of relative.
That's funny.
Getting to do another iteration on the same hero and maintaining the integrity, the visual integrity, that was important to us because Slam Throne is kind of like the little sister of Dice Throne, right?
Right, and there's a lot of these core elements that kind of mirror it, right? Like that physicalness of it all, like the excitement of it all, kind of the high stakes of it all. That's for me where it's like even these components give us the opportunity to shine that through without taking away from that.
Yeah.
We'd be remiss not to mention the fact that Gavin, years ago, he like started to push the product design. Like the way the slammers look, the little UI elements, and originally he had done a logo that was really cool, and the newest logo Nick did, which is also awesome. It really embodies the excitement and the energy of a 90s dexterity game.
Those hot rod cars with the flames.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, that's a good point, Manny, because one of the things that we wanted to also infuse in it was a little bit of a nod to nostalgia.
Yeah.
To the caps of the 90s, and a little bit of that the design influence. It was really funny. We had a conversation within the creative team about how far 90s should we push the artwork, and Manny was like, you know what, that art was garbage back then. and ever the guardian of the art and the integrity of our art, Manny just like, because we were really leading into it, it was how about we do like a crummy like marker rendering of the barbarian. He's no.
Yeah.
So,
and it's always
which
fun.
is probably a good thing in the end, because the art is really turned out really sharp.
Yeah.
And we're doing some experimenting at the factory and the manufacturing to make them special too. So
yeah, and there was this element of like when we were like investigating it, right? Like you go back in time and we have some younger team members on our staff who are like, you know, they're like, I don't get it. And you're like, oh no, it was
I don't
really,
get it.
right.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time justifying that this was like as cool as it was, right? But at the moment, it felt like such an awesome like flash in the pan kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a neat that design exploration. We did some mood boards.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun to kind of journey back. But in the end, again, the integrity of Dice Throne kind of reigns through, because it is the little sister of Dice Throne. We want it to feel like it's not that much of an extension. It's supposed to be familiar. Like the heroes that you see on the Slammers are supposed to be familiar. Again, you're all in the family. So
right.
That's where we kept it, and I think it was a good decision. I think we might have lost some folks because, to your point, enough younger people might be playing this for the first time, and they're like, "Why is it so crummy looking?" You know, wow, back in the 90s.
You just gotta believe me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm excited that it finally is going to see the light of day for us to be able to kind of go around and have another reason to bring our fans together, right? That's kind of what we've been trying to push with organized play, and I just think Dice Throne naturally does that. It's so inviting in many different ways. And Slam Throne is that again, where you get to kind of just approach, and it's kind of this big exciting thing, and all you have to do is kind of throw something down, right? Mm-hmm. And kind of through the exploration that we were at Gamma a couple weeks ago, and we had the opportunity to test out a tournament. And what was so exciting was to kind of see this natural progression of some people who had never played before just get like super into it, being like, oh, do I go with the 2-finger, or do I go straight down, or do I, like all of a sudden we were talking like form, and like people are getting in their heads, and like, it was high stakes. And there's that element of just kind of a natural competition, but also inviting that it's a rare formula that you kind of find in games. So I'm excited for that to kind of come together again, right? So even with
it's interesting.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
It's interesting that it also kind of introduced an element of skill to some degree.
Yeah, right.
Even though it's light, like, do I slam it really hard, or like, is this a lighter slam?
Right.
Whereas, you don't have to necessarily hit a target when you're throwing dice. So it's got a little bit of a progression in that regard.
Yeah, adding that catch mechanic, I think, really just adds that next level of challenge that many people have like when you actually do it, it's actually fairly hard to catch the slammer, right? Like, unless you kind of get the right position or right strike, but it's so exciting in that brief moment to try to catch it, right? And that wasn't part of what we grew up with. And I think this is kind of the special part of the special formula of the abilities and the characters and being able to do all these different things that really make it so exciting. So yeah.
Rad.
Makes it new and fresh. Yeah,
and it was
a new dynamic.
The other part about the tournament that made it so fun was that we were trying to make Manny was like the official judge and like kicking it up a notch, right? From where he would be like like yellow cards, and like he would fake whistle, and like he was ultra serious the entire time. that it really just said we should do that, right? We should totally do that. And I think on the application we talked about, it's 2 questions, which is like, do you like to throw things? And if you answer yes, you're automatically out. Do you like to watch people throw things? Yes. Okay, now you can get in, right? And it's just
It's a trick question.
yeah, there's that element of like just fun and comedy that we've always tried to have, and at the heart of Dice Throne, and this is just awesome at letting us do it again. So
It's lighthearted, and it also celebrates the art in a very simple, kind of collectible way.
Yeah.
too, in a new way,
Right.
which is exciting for us because we just like to look at the art anyway.
yeah,
So it is a nice new venue, if you will, I guess, to see the art
yep,
and interact with it in a skill-based way.
yeah. Well, friends, thank you so much for joining us in this kind of brief chat about Slam Throne and how it came to be. We're so excited for you to be able to see it for the first time at Gen Con. We're going to have an awesome experience there. You're going to be able to do demos. We're thinking about tournaments, and even having Manny be our official judge for part of that. So we have some awesome things in store. So in the meantime, check out the website, follow us along. If you're close to any of the Slam Throne events, please stop by. Many of us will be there. But until we see you at Gen Con, keep rolling 6s. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Slam Throne! Get it first at Gen Con.